Hello, it is Strategy Saturday, January 11th, 2025. Steve Sipress here with a basic rule for all businesses. You got to treat it like a business. You got to know what's going on in your business. If you don't, you're not running a business, you're just playing a game, and it can be a very expensive game to play in terms of time and or money. Example, had a call today with supposedly a new client who told me how badly he wanted my help and came on board about a month ago. Then he unilaterally decided, oh, I'm not sending you all of your fee. I'm just sending half, and I'll send the other half in a couple of weeks. Well, that never happened, and I never heard from the guy after the first, not even for onboarding, what should have been an onboarding meeting, but just first conversation. I really, unfortunately, stumped him by asking a simple question for the two most basic numbers in all of business. Like, what's the average purchase of somebody in your business? And since it's a multi-level business, this guy who goes all over social media acting like a big shot and boasting about how great the product is, all that kind of nonsense that hurts more network marketers and multi-level marketers than it could ever help. It kills their businesses, but that's what he does. He keeps doing it, but he not only is making no money, doesn't even know how much money he could make, couldn't answer me for weeks, said he would contact the company and ask them what's the average purchase and what's the profit margin and how much money would he make if somebody bought or continued to buy, how long do they buy, doesn't know anything about anything. Well, today, suddenly comes onto the Zoom call. He doesn't even come on. First comes on some guy I've never met who claims to be real successful in the world of network marketing, and then this guy comes on after a few minutes of nonsense, and then he's telling me all about how great this guy is, and he was real big in a former company, but that one went under. Well, no kidding, it went under. 99% of multi-level companies, they're all nonsense. They're run by fools. They convince fools to get into them. And the fools make no money, lose a lot of time, money, friends, family, relationships, and then they look for the next shiny object to come along. So this guy was Mr. Big Shot, and I asked him the most basic question, and he couldn't answer it either. Gave me a lot of blather about, well, the FCC, the FDC, the FTC, the whatever says we can't. What I'm like, dude, if I signed up today in this business and paid my $300 and get my introductory whatever package or something, how much money would this guy make? Well, you see, a certain level, the level he's at today, how much money would he make? Well, this went on and on. I'm like, I can't, yeah, you won't, I don't want words. I don't want, well, you see, I don't want it depends. Is this a business or is it a joke? I mean, if this were a joke, if this were a skit on Saturday Night Live or any comedian, you would ask, how do we make this funny? The fact that people are doing this I know, let's have them not even know how much money they can make on a sale. Let's have them not even have their expert, we called him his mentor or something like that. Their mentor can't even explain how much money they would make, and yet they are snowballing people into this thing with all the big boasts and claims and how great the product is. Who cares how great the product is? What's that got to do with anything? You don't think there were lots of great products over the history of mankind where the business went out of business or the salespeople couldn't sell it or didn't make any money, and yet there's salespeople who make tons of money selling crap? I mean, you look all over the road. There's crappy cars. There's crappy everything. There's crappy food. And I mean, speaking of crappy food, greatest example, McDonald's. In every single survey I've ever seen over the past 20 or 30 years of the quality of various fast food restaurants, McDonald's is always, I mean always, at the absolute bottom. Never near the bottom, never in the middle, never anywhere, always at the very bottom. Worst food quality. You don't think the people running McDonald's know that? They know that and they don't care. Doesn't matter. They're the most successful restaurant business in the history of mankind. They sell more crappy food than anyone else has ever sold good food, and they do it constantly, and they don't care about the quality. So Obviously, the quality of something doesn't matter. Go into a supermarket, go into anywhere. There's crappy everything. There's good everything. There's middling everything. There's crappy everything. None of that has anything to do with whether you'll make money in a business. But the first step, the most basic thing in your business, you got to know the most basic numbers. You got to know what you'll make if somebody buys something. Here was a very specific thing I said to this mentor, this bigwig, this hoo-ha. Okay, how much is it? Well, the introductory pack is $300 to $1,000. And what's the average? Well, couldn't tell me the average, couldn't tell me that. So I just said, okay, right now I join this thing. I pay $300. How much does this guy make? Well, we don't know. He doesn't know. Anyone he's snowing into this thing won't know. If he doesn't know, how are they going to know? Nobody knows. But, the answers consistently were the typical multi-level snow job of, well, but, over time, this is the big picture, and we're in for the long game. He's going to be making $50,000 a month. And yes, sure, that's fantastic. I hope he does. Hope he makes millions a month. But what would he make today if I made a purchase? Nobody knows. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy in your business. And of course, that's the biggest problem with multi-level network marketing is people are practically told when they first come into it, it's not a real business. Hey, this is better than a real business. You don't need inventory. You don't need a location. You don't need overhead. You don't need a way. Yeah. And then people proceed to run it not like a real business, not even knowing. It's so sad. The most basic numbers in their business, even this guy told me he asked the CEO of the company, couldn't tell him. And now this muckety-muck bigwig so-and-so Mr. Big Shot couldn't tell him. I mean, could you ask a more simple question? How much do you make on this exact amount of a purchase? You got to know your numbers, folks. How can you do anything? Regardless if you're not going to, do anything to acquire clients or patients or customers, members, wherever they are to your business. If you're not going to spend money on that, obviously for advertising, you'd want to know the numbers, to know the ROI, but there's ROI way beyond just numbers. What about your time? What about your effort? And then what about your integrity if you were encouraging other people to get involved with this thing and you don't even know how much money they can make? They don't know how much. The whole game is just based on this big pie in the sky down the road. Let me introduce you to so-and-so's making a lot of money, and that could be you if you just do everything right. Yeah, that's all great. But how much I got to make today? How much can I make next week? And I asked him straight out, since he decided to unilaterally made the decision not to pay my fee, told me 2 weeks later, which I think was going to be the 18th, he said. So I must have spoken to him at the beginning of December. And he said, on the 18th, I'll have the other. Well, that's been weeks. I just asked, are you making any money with this thing? Well, no, you see, we made the book, no. Gee, but you're Mr. Big Shot on social media. You're trying to browbeat everybody and, they're an idiot if they don't join this thing and if they don't fly all over the place and spend lots of time and money and whatever, and be broke like you? Don't be that guy. That'll do it. For Strategy Saturday, January 11th, 2025. Hope you had a fantastic day and a great start to your weekend. I'll catch you tomorrow on Sunday Fun Day.